Guy Code with
Rena Osware.
Welcome to another episode of The Guy Code. I am Rena Osware. Now, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the truth about romance. Now, guys, on this episode, I'm going to be covering what romance really is, not what society makes it to be or tries to paint it to be, and what part or what function it has in the red pill community. Now, guys, you have to understand one thing, that society right now is based on consumerism, right? And romance and the idea of being romantic is just a concept that was developed late in the 17th century, actually, in Rome. Actually, the original definition of romance actually meant in Roman style. The origin of the word came from the word Romanic, which means in Roman style. Now, this word came from Greek fables that used to talk about heroism and adventure, and only brought up the concept of love much later, late in the 17th century. Now, as time goes on from the 17th century to right now, the 21st century, guys, you have to understand and you have to agree that romance and all this Valentine's Day and, just making your partner feel special has been really blown out of proportion and really shoved in your face, especially in such seasons or, month of love and all that stuff. And guys, you have to understand, number one fact is romance is based on consumerism, okay? Now, you have to understand that this society is based on consumerism. It's a consumer society. Okay, there are not very many producers. The men are supposed to be the producers. The women are the consumers. But in this society where everyone, both men and women, want to be more consumers than producers, then this concept of romance and love will definitely be taken very favorably in the society. Why? Because people love the instant gratification and the dopamine rush when they see something nice and they see something special, and they get that rush of excitement, the butterflies in your stomach. It's almost the same thing as why people take some drugs or drink alcohol, just that elated feeling. And guys, you have to understand that since this is a consumer society, women's needs are infinite, right? The feminine is life force. The feminine needs are infinite. So whatever romantic gesture you do today, it will brighten up her day. Maybe not even her day, maybe just that moment. She'll think that's very special. And guess what? She will expect you to have value again the next time and the next time. And it could be of something different. Maybe she might want flowers today. Maybe she wants chocolates tomorrow. So, guys, if you will always be in the quest of trying to quench all the feminine needs or the needs of the feminine, and some men can be feminine, can have a more stronger feminine side than masculine side. That's how it is. They're more consumers than producers. If you spend most of your resources and time trying to quench and satisfy all these feminine urges, you will end up growing broke and end up depleted. And it's not even just about a woman, because each one of us, as a human being, we have our feminine side and our masculine side. Our feminine side is our consumer side. If right now you indulge in every desire you wanted right now, what will happen? you will deplete yourself of all the resources because your wants are infinite, right? That's your feminine side. You want to enjoy and enjoy every feel. You want to enjoy the thrill. You want to enjoy the security. You want to enjoy the flamboyance. That's your feminine side. Your masculine side is more the producing side, more the life force side. Your masculine side will want to see the whole forest instead of looking at the specific trees, see the bigger picture. So if you indulge in trying to feed into this consumer society, guess what? The needs are infinite, and that's a hole that has no end. That's why most men say that to be on your purpose and to work on your value and build your value is one of the best things you can do. And guess what, guys? We all struggle in this. You know, we both have a feminine and masculine side. I'm not talking from a point of being condescending, but we really have to have the discipline and sacrifice to see the bigger picture, you know, and be conservative, learn how to control our desires. You can't be a slave to our lusts because they will destroy us. Another thing, guys, is that in this consumer society and everyone wanting a dopamine rush, people will love you for how you make them feel, especially women, right? Doesn't matter about who you are because the truth is there are many people who are decent human beings, even though we could assume that the majority of people in the world who are quite messed up. There are a group of decent human beings that still will get no play. Why? Because maybe she just doesn't do it for her, doesn't create that attraction or that, safety or whatever feeling she likes to feel, he may not provide that. So assuming that you would, participate in all these romantic gestures to praise yourself as this kind of person, it should not be that way. You do not buy yourself into attraction. You cannot do that. And I've said that before. And if this is your first time listening, I'm glad you can hear it right now. You cannot buy yourself into attraction. The attraction must come first. Then you may build attraction by showing some of your value, you know, trying to, in moderation, moderately. You don't have to go the whole 9 yards trying to give a whole impression because women and people can feel when you're trying to give an impression. And people don't like it when they see you try so hard, it comes off in a negative way. So when you're being romantic and you assume that all these gifts and these gestures will buy her attraction, then you are wrong. These gifts and these gestures that you do in moderation and at deserving times should be an extension of what you feel for each other, you know, as a high value man. So you can do it. I'm not saying that you do not ever give women gifts. You can do it, but of course in moderation and when in a deserving times, you know, not too often because it may come off as neediness, and just in moderation. If you don't do it at all, of course, as human beings, we also want to be appreciated. And once in a while, as a high value man and someone who has resources, if it's there, you can, give some. There's no problem in that. But do not come from a point of it would buy you attraction, right? And you have to understand that in this consumer society, romantic gestures, women like to receive romantic gestures from actually any man. So do not assume that because she maybe received it from you and liked the gesture from you, that if it was someone else, she will reject it. Not necessarily, guys. She might actually appreciate it more if it was from someone else, depending if she sees that other person as more valuable than you. And that's just how it is, guys. So, as far as romantic gestures, the more the merrier for the feminine, because the feminine is life force, can be nice to receive it from different people. These gifts coming from different people, she will appreciate each and every one of them. So it doesn't really um, matter about who it's from. Although, if you have built an attachment and given an impression that you are more high value than they are, then it could mean much more. It will mean more coming from you because she sees you as more valuable. The same way, guys, if someone like Jeff Bezos said you had a good idea compared to maybe a colleague, of course, the compliment from Jeff Bezos will mean more to you because you see him as more valuable. So, guys, in order to give meaningful value and have all your efforts and gifts taken seriously, you have to be someone valuable. And this is something we're all learning, myself included. It's a self development journey, and as a journey, none of us have really reached the mountaintop yet. We are just sharing information that will help us become better people. And this is just a few things I want to share with you guys coming to the close of this episode. This episode was actually by request from one of our followers on Twitter. Shout out to the Dawn of Memes. I really appreciate that you came up with this request that James Harden, there was a story of James Harden donating $100,000 to a model or something. Was it Sawiti? I don't know. To go on a date with him, and although he denied those claims, and according to some fact, they say that there's no way you can cash up $100,000. I think if I was going to just give an overview on that situation as far as a red pill perspective, I think even though he might not have done it, there are some men who do it, and it is really unfortunate because it goes back to my second point here that you cannot buy attraction. If you have to give some of your value, and even though, okay, James Harden is a multi-millionaire and $100,000 really won't phase him, you can't just buy yourself into attraction. If you have to buy her time for $100,000, it shows that she really doesn't value your time that much, and you have to compensate by giving that kind of money. Do not do that. If she wanted to spend her time with you, she would, and she would dedicate that time. So maybe he didn't do it, but there's some other guys who do it, or some other guys who are considering doing it. Paying someone for a date is very low because it shows that she really had no interest in spending time with you unless she was compensated that amount. That's pretty much an inconvenience fee. Like, it's such an inconvenience that you have to pay. So he might have not done it, but for all the guys who are paying for OnlyFans, for all the guys who are, trying to buy this attention, buy this time from a lady, and even though it might not be much to you, every man deserves to be with someone that values their presence. If they don't value your presence like that, just leave it alone. And as we come to the close of this episode, guys, I really hope I've shared something that will be meaningful to you guys. And until next time, we shall talk soon. Bye.
Guy Code with Rena Osware.